Throughout human history, certain symbols have carried a weight far beyond their physical form. But perhaps none are as haunting or as deeply misunderstood as the mark of Cain. Mentioned in the very first pages of the book of Genesis, this divine sign has been interpreted as everything from a brand of shame to a shield of protection. It remains one of the oldest mysteries of the ancient world, sparking thousands of years of debate among theologians, historians, and artists. But what exactly was it, and why did the Creator place it upon the first man ever born of a woman? To truly understand the mark, we must first look back to the beginning, to a time when the world was young, and the first family of humanity faced its most devastating crisis. Cain was the firstborn son of Adam and Am, a man who worked the earth as a tiller of the soil. His younger brother, Abel, was a keeper of sheep. The story reaches a turning point when both brothers brought offerings to God. Abel offered the firstlings of his flock, a sacrifice of blood and life, while Cain brought the fruit of the ground. The scripture tells us that God looked with favor on Abel and his offering, but on Cain and his offering he did not look with favor. This divine preference birthed a deep, simmering resentment in Cain's heart. Despite a direct and gentle warning from God that sin was crouching at his door, desiring to have him, Cain allowed his anger to consume his reason. In the quiet of a desolate field, the first act of human violence occurred. Cain rose up and murdered his brother, spilling Abel's blood into the very soil he had spent his life tilling. When God confronted Cain about the whereabouts of his brother, Cain responded with a phrase that has echoed through the centuries. "Am I my brother's keeper?" The divine judgment was swift and heavy. God declared that the ground which had opened its mouth to receive Abel's blood would no longer yield its strength to Cain. He was destined to be a fugitive and a restless wanderer on the earth, stripped of his home and his livelihood. It is in this moment of absolute vulnerability that Cain voiced a desperate fear. He cried out that his punishment was greater than he could bear, believing that in his exile, anyone who found him would see a man without a home or protection and kill him on sight. It is here, in a surprising act of divine restraint and mercy, that the mark appears. The scripture states that the Lord set a mark on Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. This immediately flips the common perception of the mark on its head. While modern culture often uses the phrase mark of Cain to describe a visible sign of guilt or a curse, the biblical text presents it primarily as a form of divine protection. It was a sign of safety in a world that had suddenly become hostile. But the question remains, what did this mark actually look like? Because the Bible is strikingly silent on the physical details, history has filled the void with endless speculation. Some ancient Jewish traditions suggest it was a letter from the Hebrew alphabet, inscribed directly onto his forehead, perhaps representing a portion of the divine name. Other scholars have theorized it was a physical transformation of his appearance that signaled to others that he was under God's personal jurisdiction. Some suggest it was not a mark on his body at all, but rather a sign given to him, similar to how the rainbow was given as a sign to Noah. In some interpretations, it was even described as a fierce animal that accompanied him, acting as a living shield against those who might seek vengeance. Over the centuries, many myths and dangerous misconceptions have surrounded this story. It is vital to address that the mark was never described as a hereditary trait or something passed down through generations. Historically, people have wrongly used this narrative to justify the marginalization of specific groups, but these interpretations are a complete distortion of the Hebrew text. The mark was specific to Cain, a temporary measure for a man living out a specific sentence. It was a visible reminder of his crime, but it was also a divine seal that forbade others from taking vengeance into their own hands. By marking Cain, God established a crucial principle: justice belongs to him alone, and the cycle of violence must not be allowed to continue unchecked. The narrative significance of the mark of Cain is found in the delicate and often difficult balance between justice and mercy. Cain was a murderer, and by the standards of almost any ancient or modern legal code, his life was forfeit. Yet God allowed him to live, to build a city, and to father a lineage. This highlights a recurring theme throughout the Bible. While God does not ignore sin, He often provides a way for the sinner to endure and even contribute to the world despite their failures. The mark was a heavy burden to carry, symbolizing a life separated from the presence of God, but it was also a testament to God's sovereignty over life and death. It shows us that even in our darkest moments of failure, there is a boundary that God sets around us. In the end, the mystery of what the mark looked like matters much less than what the mark represented. It teaches us about the devastating consequences of jealousy and the high cost of allowing anger to take root in the heart. It serves as a sober warning that our actions have ripples that can never be undone, yet it also offers a glimpse of a grace that protects even the most undeserving. We are reminded that every human life is under the gaze of the Creator, and that mercy often walks hand in hand with judgment. If you found this exploration of biblical history and mystery insightful, please consider subscribing to Bible Stories and Insights for more deep dives into the ancient world. Don't forget to like this video and share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you believe the mark of Cain truly represented in the context of mercy? Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.